Assalamu alaikum. You're watching news on Views and I'm Faisal Rahman. And today we'll be talking about a very important area. As we all know, today is the 9th of December and this is the Anti-Corruption Day. So talking about this particular issue, I know this is something very close to your hearts and it is also very, very important because at the end of the day, this is one area where one has to put their foot down and to make sure that this menace of corruption should be eliminated. Though it's a very tough task, but still having said that, there are very capable people who are right there on the top and making sure that all the wrongdoings should be taken care of. Whether we talk about the money laundering issue or we talk about terror financing, we all know that when it comes to FATF issue, these are two most important areas. Other than that, when we talk about the flight of capital and through wrong means, through hundi or hawala, and that is the reason today the dollar was hitting around 178 rupees. Perhaps because of the flight of capital and not through the proper banking channels. So how to put a check on that? And the government has been able to do a lot. They have identified people, they have arrested them, and things are very much in control. Other than that, when you talk about the intelligence gathering and the issues related to, in particular, law and order, as I earlier mentioned about money laundering, finance, or any other sort of a corruption element, or somebody is involved, whether from the government or otherwise, who is a part of that should be taken care of, and they have been taken care of. Another very important phenomena which never existed, let's say about 25 years ago, but now has really become something super important, and that is about the cybercrime. So one of our major divisions within the FIA is about the cybercrime control, how to sort of engage, how to make sure that the person who is involved, because this is not an easy task, should be captured, and then again to make sure that certain issues should not be repeated again. So these are so many areas which we'll be talking about in our today's program, and in particular, last but not the least, the role of FIA, the Federal Investigation Agency, and perhaps they have a huge role to play. And this is so diversified, we'll be talking about that. So since it's, as I earlier mentioned, this is the Anti-Corruption Day, so we have the honor to have with us the DG FIA, Mr. Sanaullah Abbasi Saab. Sir, pleasure to have you in the show, and thank you so much that you have taken your time out, and especially today, sir, despite being so busy. But sir, let me start off from very basic and fundamental questions, sir. When we talk about the intelligence agencies, they have a certain role to play. When we talk about agencies like FIA for that matter, or IB, they have a different role to play, but at some area, they do converge. But sir, looking at the overall, I was just going through the overall details of FIA. Sir, they are so diversified, and it seems that, you know, everything at the end of the day, you know, that kind of a pressure that you have to go through, it's always on the DG FIA. So sir, primarily the main areas where you, once you took charge, you focused, and you believe that as the DG of this particular institution, a noble one, you have been able to do or have that kind of success, and how?
Thank you very much for inviting me in the show. On the day which is very august and very near dear to me, that is Anti-Corruption Day. That day the society, International Society and National Society of Pakistan has made a pledge to eliminate the menace of corruption. So that's why today is a very precious day. Once again we reiterate to eliminate the corruption. So far as your question is concerned, the main task of an FIA when I took a charge was the creating a deterrence in the society so far as corruption is concerned, and number two, retrieval of the looted money to the national exchequer without hampering the economic activity and giving a growth to the economy of Pakistan. This was the bottom line and objective of an FIA when I took over the charge. So how far we have succeeded? I think we have succeeded to a certain extent. A lot to be done, a lot to be delivered. So time will tell that what will be the situation.
So must be having a very tough task in front of you. But so let's start off from the pertinent questions, that is about the money laundering and terror financing. As I earlier mentioned, sir, FATF, and I would call that sword is still hanging on our neck. But sir, a lot has been done, because generally this was something which everybody thought is impossible to eliminate. But sir, now people are actually scared. You know, if you tell them that, you know, you need to send this amount of money to UK or to USA, but, you know, do not send it through the proper means or proper channels. Can you do it through Hundi and Hawala? And they will be reluctant to do so. Majority I'm talking about. That practice was so common, and now it is not. So is it the perception, or is it the mega step that you have taken against these people, sir, who were involved in such activities?
I think previously we were playing in a grey area. Now we are playing in the white and black area. So that's why, because of enforcement and will of the government of Pakistan, state of Pakistan, tremendously we have increased. You have seen the increase in the remittances, you have see the increase in the revenue generation, and the most important thing is you see the belief of the people in the system, because this belief has led to the diaspora to inject money into the Pakistan. That's why the remittances has increased. So because of the actions of the law enforcement agencies, not the international pressure, but we as a nation itself has decided to do the things which are we supposed to do, what ought to be done by us, previously neglected, but we are now cognizant of the fact that we must do these things: documentation of an economy and law enforcement, due process of law, formalism in the economy and law enforcement. These all steps of the state of Pakistan and government of Pakistan has led to belief in the system and increase into the remittances and other things.
Now, so primarily, sir, when you're talking about the documentation, because, you know, it is generally believed that half of our economy, or perhaps few people, a few economists say it's more than half, that is not documented. So does that also come into your domain, to make sure that if this person he is not a filer or a filer, or perhaps this man is, you know, trying to save the taxes through wrong means or something?
No, there are some jurisdictions empowering us, but so far as tax evasion is concerned, this is a domain of an FBR.
Okay.
We are only dealing with the bad things, that too pure bad things, that is crime. So we suggest to the FBRs, by our actions, by collateral consequences, the FBR gets benefited. Because of, I will give you an example, that we have conducted two-man inquiries. One is in petroleum industry and other is in sugar industry. When we have taken an action in these two sectors, the revenue generation in these two sectors has tremendously increased. Though as a collateral consequence, the FBR is benefited, but the tax evasion is mainly the job of FBR.
But normally, sir, is it because you judge and you see, or some information is given to you and then you conduct a raid or an operation, or perhaps it is on the recommendation of FBR or other institutions, or it could be both?
Do you know, these institutions like FBR, Finance Ministry or government departments, they refer the cases to us. Then we will see the criminality. We only deals with the criminality of any conduct or behavior of a person. So far as irregularity is concerned, it is referred back to the department and referred back to the institutions. We only see and review the criminality of conduct, that's all. If you, this is the, one must be very clear about the irregularity and criminality. If you mix both of them, then the mess is created, and FIA is being accused of coercion and these things. But we have distinguished irregularity and criminality. Okay. We only deal with the criminality. Irregularity is left to the departments to be dealt with by the departments and taken cognizance of by the departments themselves.
Now, sir, one important point, and that I think is close to my heart also, sir. sometimes the perceptions, they become so large that, for example, the Department of Police, and since you were the IG, KP also, sir, so police or law enforcement agencies perhaps, so that perception is so negative that, you know, people are scared even to go to certain institutions to get some sort of help. Rather, they believe that, you know, it is going to be a problem for us later for some reason. Don't you think, sir, it's also very important to change the perception of certain institutions? For example, the one which you are heading, that is FIA, one of the most powerful and the most, I would say, productive one as well so far, what we have seen. Perception building, sir.
Do you know, to certain extent I agree with you, but to certain extent I disagree with you. When I receive the complaints daily in cybercrime, the last year we have received 1 lakh complaints, and till today we have received more than 70,000 complaints, meaning thereby if the people are making complaints to us for the redressable or grievances, meaning thereby it is a confidence which is being shown in FIA. So yes,
so there isn't much trust deficit.
Maybe yes, but when you, there may be one option that people have no alternative, but so far as perception of complaints is concerned, the quantum of these complaints are concerned, quantum shows the confidence of a public in FIA. Now what the FIA is doing, this may be a debatable, this may be a questionable. We have done some reforms in FIA. Number 1 reform was the rotation policy. We have transferred approximately almost all people from one province to another province, making it a federal institute. It should not be provincialized.
All right.
I mean, number 2, because if the person is posted in one post, one place for more than 10 years, more than 20 years, he may create some mistakes for himself or for own cronies. So we want to break this cronism and stakeholding of the FIA people themselves. So we have started under the instruction of government a rotation policy that person should be transferred from one place to another place. Number 1. Number 2, we have given very chance to the, my client are mainly 2. Number 1 is businessman, number 2 is the government servants. For the business community, we have charted a plan to, when I serve the notices to the businessmen for any conduct or misconduct, they have been given a chance to respond to it. Number 1. Number 2, through emails, through video conferences, and finally we take an action after satisfying ourselves, giving a due process and transparency to the people. So far as public service is concerned, we have decided that if any complaint is given to an FIA, it must go to the head of department, the first line of a defense against corruption. Then we must get the comments from the head of department, then we will initiate something which we want to do if we are not satisfied or satisfied with the head of department's comments. So these steps has made FIA more accountable to the people and giving in and fair opportunity to the public service and to the business community, not hampering the economic activity and not hampering the governance itself, that business community and the government servants should be scared of FIA or any other accountability institutions. So we have made these steps, make it more transparent to the public.
Now, so another important, you're talking about the business community, which is a very powerful one. So whether you talk about the stock market players or otherwise, and basically when you talk about the economic growth, these are the important people. And when you talk about the governance of government employees, I mean, very, very crucial aspect. And you I'm sure you must have to maintain a very thin line where you have to
Very.
hold them accountable if they are doing something wrong, and let's not hamper the overall general working activities. Sir, there must be a lot of hurdles, and I'm sure a lot of political pressure also. Don't you think, sir, dealing that is the actual task?
Do you know, I was not in my entire service, I was not influenced by anybody else. Maybe there may be some people where some people came to them and they telephones me. It may be my friend, may be my colleague, it may be a politician, it may be a public servant. But they simply refer the people to me, maximally. But they cannot influence the public discharge of a duty. This is our duty to listen to everybody, not taking it negatively that I am being influenced by somebody else. Everybody has a right to have approach to me and to the public servants in FIA. So I take these maybe telephone calls, maybe accessibility, maybe these things positively, in the sense that people should not be condemned unheard. Give a very fair chance to everybody, and then you decide the case on the merit. This is our policy.
Now, that's very interesting. Now, sir, let's talk about the kind of achievements that FIA has done over a period of time, sir. Sir, for example, one of the major areas, it's about the money laundering, and yes, about the terror financing, but sir, flight of capital, as we earlier mentioned. Keeping a dollar at a certain rate, sir, because if you look at it, sir, today it was around 178 rupees. A lot of people believe that through Hundi and Hawala money is sent abroad, and then that money could be used for any purpose. But sir, ever since you have taken charge, do you believe that whatever steps you have taken, they were in the right direction and they have yielded results? And what else needs to be done? Because this has become one of the major problems, because the more the dollar is going to go up, it is going to bring in a lot of problem, a lot of pressure on the government also. So the major steps you have taken regarding that, let's explain.
I will only comment upon this, that FIA only deals with the black market of this dollar dynamics. We have been assisted by the intelligence agencies, we have been assisted by the State Bank of Pakistan, we have been assisted by the Finance Ministry. So we have arrested so many people, approximately 500 or 600 people, and we have charged some B category company, exchange companies, some of them. So we are doing our job so far as this black marketing is concerned. So far as the rest of things are concerned, the government is doing its best. We are only dealing with the black market, means hoarding, means smuggling, if at all it happens. So we are dealing with these things and we are doing our things. So far other the variables are concerned, Finance Ministry and the State Bank of Pakistan, they are doing their best.
So basically, sir, you're working, I mean, it's like a team, like FIA,
definitely,
the State Bank of Pakistan, the Ministry of Finance,
exactly.
maybe some other institutions as well.
Exactly.
So that liaison factor should be there,
exactly.
that that interaction is very important.
Exactly.
But sir, when we talk about the black money, sir, the recent example is that a lot of people believe that because of the Afghan issue, the prices of dollar, they have gone up. And we have to look after that particular affair. Now, sir, a country like Afghanistan, we have a porous border. No matter what we say, but say at the end of the day, sir, it is possible that money could be. So what exactly, since you have been the former KP chief also regarding police, so is that also helping you, sir? Because you must be aware of what is happening in KP and then being a responsible head of the FIA. How you manage it, sir?
Do you know border is fenced, more than 70% border has been fenced. A legal regime has been placed at the borders. 5 checkposts are being, more 5 checkposts are being established in KPK, where this legal regime, visa regime I call it, a visa regime is being placed. So we are trying to minimize, decrease and eliminate this aspect of smuggling into Afghanistan. To very large extent, we have succeeded in eliminating some sort of an smuggling, which might happen across the border. But I think quantum is low. This involves the economic dynamics. So, I am not an economic expert, but so far as black market is concerned, so far as smuggling is concerned, we are dealing it with very firm hands, that smuggling cannot be allowed across the border, and black market is to be contained and to be finished to the nil.
And how about the Pak-Iran border, sir? It has different challenges as compared to Pak-Afghan border?
Even the last week I met the counter-terrorism chief of the Iran. So, he was more than satisfied with the efforts taken by the law enforcement agencies in Pakistan. We share a 900 kilometer border with Iran, and I think that he was more than satisfied. And the more information will be shared between the two countries bilaterally and through even Interpol. So, Interpol is a very good tool for the international cooperations, either bilaterally or even multilaterally. So, we are using these tools bilaterally and even multilaterally through Interpol.
And how about intelligence sharing, sir?
Intelligence,
are you satisfied?
Yes, yes. Intelligence sharing with Iran, it is very highly valuable, and we have decided to increase more information sharing with neighboring countries. So, it will aid to us to the counter-terrorism efforts, to the financial crimes, organized crimes, and we will rather further enhance the sharing of information.
Now, sir, another very important question my producer was just telling me to ask you, and that is about the overseas Pakistanis, sir, who have dual passports, perhaps if they live abroad, whether in Europe or America or otherwise in the Middle East also. And so sometimes, they always, working for 20 years, 30 years, they gather a certain amount of money to make sure they should have a plot and a house in Pakistan. But sir, since they're not living here, sometimes the tenants would not vacate their house since they are abroad. They can't, just approach the courts, and, it becomes very difficult. So, sir, any plan for those people who have issues in Pakistan? For example, somebody has taken over somebody's property, whether it's a land or a commercial plaza or something. So, what exactly FI is doing, sir, and how to make sure, because the Prime Minister is so keen on looking after these affairs.
Overseas Pakistani are very near and dear to us, because their remittances has increased. They have a great trust in Pakistan, and they have increased the quantum of economy tremendously. So, we have created a desk for these people. So far as financial crimes are concerned, so far their issues are concerned, so far their grievances are concerned, they are being given in priority in FIA. But so far as the occupation of land, occupation of these things because of jurisdiction, they
forged documents.
Forged documents. Yes, this is our domain. But so far as land occupation, these are things are concerned, they are being dealt with by the local administration, local police, and by provincial polices. So far as financial crime is concerned, we are dealing it on a priority basis for these people, because they are very near and dear to us.
So recently there was this private bank, and one of their major senior branch manager, because we are also the victims, he ran away, and God knows it's over 2 billion or what sort of money, and with a fake identity, and because people had so much trust in him. And suddenly that man vanished, and so a lot of people, including my sister, I'll be very honest, they have no idea what to do and whom to approach and what should be done, because the bank isn't taking interest in that particular regard. We have no clue whether to approach the police or lodge an FIR or to go to the FIA. So, sir, these are the areas where I think a lot more needs to be done, sir.
Definitely.
For the satisfaction of the
definitely. When the bank is involved, FIA can invoke the jurisdiction, definitely. People must know that whose jurisdiction is there. That's why this awakening is very, very important, that people must know their rights, People must know the law enforcement agencies, people must know the courts. So this is very important because people don't know where to go, whether they have to go to the police station, they have to go to the FIA.
Exactly.
So the education or awakening of people so far as law is concerned is very, very necessary, inevitable for these people.
Like sir, Shmala Tariq, a very dear friend of ours, she is the Ombuds chairperson, and so they have a portal and they have a whole system where people can file their complaints, and the department approaches those people and then look after their affairs or the kind of problem they are going through. So what about FIA, sir? Have you thought over it?
We have two type of complaints. Number one complaints is mainly the Prime Minister's portal. It's very, very important. It's delivering too much, I am telling you. Daily we monitor it, daily we get reports. It's a very tremendous and amazing, number one. Number two is our own system of complaints. We have created a system of complaints management system. It is an automated, so we are dealing with these complaints like this. Even daily, manually I am getting the complaints approximately my own office, the DG's office, receiving more than 100 complaints daily. If I am getting more than 100 complaints, what will happen to the director's offices and down below all the officers? So we have managed this system of complaints coupled with mainly the PM portal.
Okay.
So I think that though complaints are keep coming, but we are responding to these people. We are trying to daily. There is a dashboard on in front of me. Daily I check it, and daily I give an instruction to these people. In the morning,
get all the updates.
Yeah. In the morning, my first job is to see that dashboard, because these are the people we are supposed to deliver. These are the taxpayers where from we are getting money, salary. So these are the actual stakeholders of Pakistan. So I start my this day first seeing these complaints.
So that's how the day starts, and it continues the same way. Now, sir, another very, very important area, cybercrime. Now, it's a new phenomenon, not new in the Western world, but perhaps in Pakistan. But sir, anybody can do anything, and this is what has been happening. You can malign anybody, fake information. You talk about fake videos, and there have been so many cases now. So even the politicians are not safe, actors, actresses. I mean, anything and everything could be done. Sir, it's unbelievable. So how about that particular area? Because that is very important, and this is, I think, the real area.
This is very, very important. Though now we are living in a cyberspace, everything has been transmitted and even translated into cyberspace. There are very good things. Good things that you see information is being flooded, positive information and negative information. Because of pandemic, the approximately whole governance has shifted to the cyberspace through Zooms. So these are the good things, very good things. But there are bad people also, as in the materialistic world and in the cyberspace also. So the government of Pakistan has this legislated upon this cyber laws, which still needs an amendment. But so far as these laws are concerned, we are enforcing these laws. They include a defamation, they include the fraud, they include the cyber terrorism, so on and so forth. But this domain is in transition.
Okay.
Transition in the sense that we are developing. Cyber Wing and FIA, it is the only legitimate agency to investigate the cyber crimes. Only legitimate agency in entire Pakistan. Therefore, we have a great challenge to deal with this domain. Though we are resource deficit, approximately I have 400 people in cyber crime being
All over Pakistan, sir?
all over Pakistan, and only 5 labs in entire Pakistan. But
And they are also in the major cities.
major cities, my provincial headquarters. But government of Pakistan has pumped money, but because of the pandemic, because of these stipulated laws, procedures, we are doing something, hiring the human resource and technologically equipping ourselves, but it will need an time to come to the expectation of people of Pakistan. Challenge is very high. I received a daily complaints. I have already told you that last year we have received 1 lakh complaints.
100,000.
Till today, more than 70,000 complaints in only cyber crime domain. But we have coupled cyber PICA law along with PPC, and you have seen something happening in the cyber crime. Previously, it doesn't used to be, but now we have started picking up the people, particularly in cases of fraud, defamation cases. You have seen so many
So
cases.
people blackmailing other people, people making videos,
child
Definitely. Pornography.
Exactly. So far as child pornography is concerned, defamation is concerned, we have arrested more than 1,000 people in the last 6 months. So far as these crimes are concerned,
And they have been convicted and sent to jail also, sir?
some conviction has been given to approximately 30 convictions
Okay.
in the last 6 months. So it's a good start, but a lot to be done because challenge is very huge. This is a new domain and the future domain.
Absolutely. But
so-
now, sir, one more important factor, and that is about you, since you mentioned about the resources. And so when you talk about this 4G, 5G, high tech, I mean, it's an unbelievable area, sir. I'll just give you one example, sir. About 5 years ago, sir, I lost my phone and my Facebook account was hacked, and somebody was, somebody missed you. So I went to the FIA, that was the main highway, and said the cybercrime department was on the 4th floor. And to be very honest, sir, since there was no light, so nobody had the internet option. I mean, I was surprised. This is Islamabad, and how will they move forward? I mean, the world is into a digital zone now. Look what is happening in the Silicon Valley. You're a very educated man, and you understand. Sir, we need a lot of resources. Human resource and other support material as well. So don't you think that should be the area where the next budget, whenever it is, I mean, you should come up with a proper detail in black and white, that this is what we need, this is how we'll function. And because, sir, at the end of the day, now you'll also realize that there were so many cases related to land and property, but sir, this area is very important, and perhaps in the future, you never know, sir, once we leave the actual currency and go into the digital mode, sir,
definitely,
these would be a lot of
definitely. Do you know, government is taking some steps, very serious steps. Government has spotted 7 universities where the cyber security is being taught and being research and development programs of R&D is being conducted in 7 universities: NUST, Bahria, Air University, NED University, naming other also. And money is being pumped into these universities. We are taking advantage of these universities because these youth, which is the future of Pakistan, they are contributing a lot. We have started international programs in FIA so far as the cyber security is concerned, and now we have started investigating the 2 cyber attacks, one in FBR and another in National Bank of Pakistan. So we are entering into the unknown domain. This is a very serious challenge, but we have started entering into the unknown domain. So these are the steps we are taking, but still, as I will inform you, that we are still in transition, pumping resources into this domain.
But having the right person for the right job, who's
definitely
capable to deliver
exactly,
and who understands. Because a lot of people, I remember, sir, young students who went to study in UK, and especially in the field of MIT. Now I believe, sir, this is the high time that we should have proper courses. Because this terror financing or the money transfer, sir, this is not, either it's done in cash,
No,
but
yeah,
in the long run, sir, cash is not going to be there. But this is going to be about the card or the application.
Exactly.
So one has to be a step ahead of the
Exactly.
person who's into all the wrongdoings. So that's how you get an edge over them.
We are doing, so far as national variables are concerned, national variables meaning thereby that government is pumping money into the human resource, into the technological, but it's a global crime. It needs an international cooperation like Facebook, Twitter and other these media forums. So sometimes they cooperate with us, sometimes they don't. So Facebook is the maximally cooperating with us, other are less. We are trying to convince these media forums that they should cooperate more individually and even through Interpol, that they must cooperate, because their input is very crucial for bringing the culprits, cyber culprits, to the justice. So we are also entering into understanding these international variables and international dynamics also.
So last question, what sort of ideas do you have for the future, sir? Because we really would like to have people who are educated like you, sir, who know the subject well and can deliver. At the end of the day, sir, it's all about people's satisfaction.
Yeah.
So let's suppose if you're here for another year and a half, perhaps 2 or even more, which areas you find where there are weaknesses and you really want to overcome that, and at the same time, sir, areas of strength where you want to really capitalize?
The top priority is the cyber crime, top priority. So I am more investing my time and energy and resources into cyber crime in this domain. Number 2 is the growth of an economy and creating a deterrence in the society against corruption. These are the main objectives.
Awareness primarily.
Including awareness. Deterrence is created by the awareness and by the punishments, not by arresting the people and getting bails and being acquitted by the arbitrator courts. The bottom line purpose is growth in an economy, more investment, creating a deterrence by certainty of a punishment, not severity of a punishment. People must know that if I do a misconduct, I will be punished. So when this deterrence is created, this whole dynamics of anti-corruption will be realized, I think so.
Well, sir, we wish you all the best for your future endeavors, sir, and thank you so much once again
Thank you.
For your time, sir. And I would also like, sir, that I think FIA is one area and one department. I mean, the trust deficit with the people should be there, and at the end of the day, we should look up to those people, and we should be happy that at least they are doing something for the nation. That perception is very, very important, and that is only going to be there once people will be taken care of, their issues would be sorted out, and on merit and on reality. Once again, sir,
thank you
so much for your time.
Thank you.
And that's all we have for this hour. Tonight we had Mr. Dr. Sanaullah Abbasi Saab, the DG FIA, and you in fact heard what sort of plans he have, and also what currently he is doing, and what sort of mega challenges are ahead. But as they say, where there is a will, there is a way. I'll see you inshallah on Monday. Till then, you take good care. Khuda Hafiz.